Test, 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 test. Excellent. Cool. Okay, we're going to start. First of all, thank you all for coming today. I see a range of newbies and veterans, young and old, male, female, and maybe other. I don't know your gender identification. Different nationalities as far as America, Vietnam, New Zealand, the UK, that's me, get 1-0. As well as, what else? South America, we have Chile, and obviously Croatia. Today it's going to look a bit like this. We've got 9 people speaking, basically to share their experiences about doing business here in Croatia, looking at the good side and the bad side, both as foreigners and also as entrepreneurs. So these people will share their experience so far, and as I said, a whole range of experiences. And we've also got a talk from Sanja about accounting and finance in Croatia. And hopefully a lawyer is going to come as well and talk a bit about the law here as well, depending on how her court case goes, which started at 9. Fingers crossed it will be quick and she will win. So without further ado, I'm just going to welcome my colleague Marin to the stage to tell you a bit more about the project, how it's progressing, and what other partners are doing. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm the guy with the paper and guy with the coffee. Now, I used to be just the guy with the paper, so you didn't like me. So now, hi, can you have coffee? Can you send that this up? So hi everyone, is this working?
You need to hold it close to your mouth.
Okay, it's not working. Welcome, nice to see you all faces again. Nice to see some new faces again. I have the honor of this project, half of the project manager for the Croatia area, with my colleague from the city, Tony. And as you know, this is a project that is in far Central Europe countries, in Italy, Poland, Germany, and I'm missing one, Austria, right, and Croatia. So the idea is to show that foreign migrant entrepreneurship is something not undoable, it's extremely doable. Lots of you are here proof that it's more than successful businesses. And the main obstacle was like, okay, let's find what's going on, what's the problems when people try to start something on their own, and let's try to help them. So in last year we had, of course, the COVID year, so the lots of activities that we planned to do was transferred online, it was postponed, and it was like, you know, with all your businesses, like nightmare to going with step by step and stuff. So finally we managed to have this place decorated. Tony will say a few things more about this one. And started with one-stop shops and doing the stuff to the e-platform and stuff that we actually can try and help you on the things that you showed us that, okay, I need help with this, I need little directions with that and stuff like that. So in short, I will leave you to the professionals, but first, not professional, my colleague Tony from the city, who is most dedicated to this, actually rather to be operational and good one. Okay, so welcome, thank you. If you need coffee or something, just ask me, no problem. And yeah, I speak too much fast, and no, I'm not from the USA. Bye.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony. I'm the project manager from the city of Split of the project Azorcam. Welcome here. As many of you already know, but I will repeat, we have managed to co-fund this project with the city of Split, who was able to invest lots of money to it just from this project, and this was financed by the three different projects, and from the money of the city of Split. Just from this project is about 80,000 euros invested to the equipment with smart lighting, projectors, and everything. Air condition and everything to be able to host you. This place was made for all of you, for all the people from different organizations, NGOs who have a creative spirit, creative industry, for whole the creative industry. So for them to make something new, and also we managed to somehow connected with social entrepreneurship, which is also a creative way of making something new and making new jobs and new services. So I hope this space, this project and everything will be handy to you and will provide new opportunities and new something new in the city of Split. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. So as I mentioned today, we'll have lots of different speakers, and in between each three, you'll have post-its and pens to write your ideas about what we can do to improve life here for foreigners and for foreign entrepreneurs. Next week, I'm going to Zagreb, where I'll be meeting one lady who works in policy, informing policy in research, and going to be telling her a bit more about what we talked about today, as well as later on one university professor from the University of Split will be coming to again hear what's been going on and to hopefully speak to a few of you. We are live streaming this, just so you know, it's on Facebook. If for some reason the laptop always cuts out, you should throw it away. If for some reason you don't want to be live streamed, just say and Nick can hit the pause button, yeah? So if you're thinking it might lead to death threats, then just tell him. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our first speaker of today, who is, oh, I've lost my paper. It's fine. Tin, would you mind speaking first? Go on, Tin. It's either you or Roxana. Someone's got to be, oh, we've already spoken. Okay, Roxana. If you want to, if you don't want to, it's fine, because I won't stand next to you. Yeah, okay. Okay, so welcoming Roxana. Are you bringing up your products as well? I hope so. Excellent.
Give me a moment, Michael. Had an issue.
Just one technical issue while I give this to Sanya.
There we go with it.
Okay, thank you, Sanya. Over to you, Roxana.
Hi, will you hear me? Yes. Just here?
Left. There we go.
My name is Roxana. Will you hear me with this properly or not? Or should I take it out? Take it out? So hi, my name is Roxana. I'm from Chile. I've been living in Croatia for around 7 years. It's gonna be this summer. So yeah, I can speak a little bit Croatian. So who am I? Well, Roxana, of course. I'm a non-European country, like third world country, trying to live here, trying to do something here so I can have like a normal life for me. So I started like in December, I started a plant shop online. So you can see my products here, some of my products. And I'm trying to help like people from other countries to sell their things too, like with their product. Like I have my friend Kelly from Braj, that she makes ceramic pots, and then I sell it on my website. Like, I don't know if I see some faces, like 2 Saturdays ago, we had like an expo, and you could see everything there. And so the difficulties to open a business in Croatia, I think it's pretty hard. Like if you don't know Croatian well, like you need somebody to go with you and to explain you everything, how it goes. Because sometimes it happens like one person says something and then you go to the next one and it's totally different, just like in the police. So get used to that. Yeah, I can see everybody's agreeing on that. But yeah, I think like what I have here, Croatian government or like split government is giving like a lot of money or like to help women, like to open their business, to keep running. So if you can do it, like take advantage of that, I think. What else? The difficulties for me to move to Croatia wasn't so hard. I was coming here like maybe twice a year, so I knew how it was. And I moved here because my husband is Croatian. So that's it was like very helpful for me. But yeah, like I encourage everybody, you have an idea, you know, to talk about it, to have something. It's hard, but it's possible. So don't let Croatian people to bring you down. I think that's very important too.
Where do we find you?
Okay, so if you want to buy something now, you can buy it too. Of course, that's why I wrote many things. So my website, I have my cards here. If somebody wants one, I have my web shop and the Instagram too. So if somebody wants it, I have few. So it's like vivero minus like the line plants.com. That's the website, and you can find me on Instagram too, and Facebook, everything. And yeah, I hope you like them as much as I do. And then I have another account, Instagram account, that is a little bit on post. The name is Croatia, and that I'm talking about like environment and what we can do about composting and all those things. What we can do, like to keep Croatia clean, Split clean. Yeah, I think that's very important too.
And anything about opening in Hobbit? Because I know.
Oh yes. Thank you, Michael. I'm trying to open an Uber right now, so it's hard. It's very hard. They're asking you a lot of papers and things that I didn't have here with me, so I have to ask my mother to find them in Chile that they were totally lost. Things that we don't really have in Chile anymore. Like you throw at them. So yeah, like high school diploma to open an Uber or your degree, very thing that nobody has anymore, I think. So yeah, but it's possible. It's possible. Yeah, that's it. Michael, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, whoops, I speak too loud. Thank you, Roxana. Roxana came to me at the beginning. She said, "Don't make me speak first." And then I did. I'll buy you a drink.
I told you 2 days ago, actually.
Yeah, unfortunately, nobody likes going first. But it was a good start. Thank you very much. Now, second, we've got Tin.
I just put the mask up. Hi everyone. My name is Tin. Actually, like the Vietnamese should be called like Tin, but it's really hard to pronunciate. So I translate to Croatian like Tin, Tina, or Tin. Yeah, it's also meaning that the boy name in Vietnam, and also Tin is the boy name in Croatia too. So yeah, it's so nice to see all of you here. I've been living in Split for more than 4 years by accidentally. I met a guy from Split, moving here, settled down my life, and then I have a son, 4 years old. So that's the reason I try to settle my life and continue to live in Split in Croatia. So I start with the full-time job in the restaurant. So, but that is like recent, like seasonal job. So I think that I would find something to do during winter. Then I start with lashes when I back to Vietnam, and I start to study lashes to do. Then I did not put too much on Instagram, on media, social, anything, because I'm not good with that. Just start 3 months ago, since I know Haiti, and she introduced me with Michael, and we start with the Excel, you know, the file. We put the name with all the activity with promotion that we supporting each other on Instagram, on Facebook. And from that day, a lot of women came to me, and they know about my lashes. It's really like incredible chance for me to know this group, to know this organized, to know Michael. And then, like, yeah, I start to posting more on Instagram, and I have more customer. And I thinking like I'm gonna quit my job in the restaurant, yeah, and start focus on my classes. That's really the big change for me, and it's really a good start. Yeah, and also like I have no idea what's gonna do with the paper, how gonna be with the like the business here, because I'm not good with language. I don't know Croatian. So for Michael, he started to help me with Sanya also to show me like how it's work with accountant. What do we need to open something here, and completely just blow my mind. So many things. So like I know that it's hard in Croatia with all the paper, especially for my like third country. It's really hard for the visa for us to come here, and even for prolonging my visa for staying here. That's also a lot of a challenge. But I think Croatia is really potential. If because not so many business have here, like why I choose the lashes. I can do with nails also. The Vietnamese is really famous for nails business in America, in Australia, in another country, right? It's always like Vietnamese always do that job. But I don't have so much time. I don't have so much money to invest in the nails industry. You need to learn a lot about that. You need to invest a lot of money with the nail stuff. But with lashes, for 1 to 2 months, you study and you keep focus, practice every day. It's not take a lot of money also. So that's my choice how I pick the lashes. And I think like not so many places in Split, even in Croatia, people do lashes properly. I mean, like they make good, but we bring more style, more thing, and to have different thinking about lashes. So
Can you mention anything about the orbits?
yeah. So I also want to start with the orbit. And as Rosanna say, like so many like diploma I need to have experience with that. Yeah, just need more help from Sanya. Yeah. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Tin. Just to touch on what Tin has found out. So to open an obit, which is a sole trader, in certain industries you have to complete an exam. So for Tin to do eyelashes through obit, she needs to actually pass a 3-month exam in being a beautician, which is in Croatian and only takes place once a year. So so now we're looking at ways to get around that, I guess. But not get around it, but to do things in another way. So hopefully we'll crack on with that. Because as you've seen with Roxana and Tin, they both have good ideas. Thanks, Nick. They both have good ideas, and there's the opportunity here. That's the one thing that Tin mentioned. There's a lot of opportunity in Croatia, especially in Split, because a lot of people are tourism focused. So looking at these other kind of peripheral activities and being able to feed into those would be great. Next up, I'm going to call on someone with a bit more experience, but who's had, well, he'll let you know. Luke, I'm going to call you up, mate. Thank you, Luke. He thought he was at 11. But you're joining the female entrepreneurs.
Do I need to press a button or anything?
No, just open your mouth.
Hi guys, how is everybody? My name is Luke. I'm from the UK originally. I came here 4 years ago, and I now own a cocktail bar in Split, and I'm starting a distribution business for import and distribution of alcohol in Croatia. When I first came, the whole story has been like an accident that was not planned that worked out really well. I came here for a holiday. After a week, I was like, Split's pretty cool. I think I could stay a little longer. I got a job in a cocktail bar as a bartender, met a girl, same as many people here. Then you start making decisions that maybe you normally wouldn't make. And by the end of the summer, I was like, okay, Split's the place. I decided to open my own bar, and that was 2.5 years ago. And a lot of people have similar experience with the Croatian government. I think especially you, Chad. I've seen just about everything you can see from the city, and some of it is very, very difficult, but sometimes it also makes life much more convenient as well. For example, when I was trying to get my visa, I couldn't get a visa, even though I'm an Irish citizen and European. But what I could do was open a company and employ myself and give myself a visa, which at the time seemed kind of crazy, but it was a great solution to the problem that you might not get in other countries. I'm not really sure, like, ask me some questions and I'll fire them.
Okay. How long did it take you to open your business, and what issues did you encounter?
When I started, like, opening the company, it seemed like a nightmare. But luckily, one of my best friends already in Split was a lawyer. And the best advice I could give to anybody is get some really good Croatian friends who know how things go, especially if you're just opening. They'll be like, hey guys, please take care of this one. I own 2 DOs. I have Obert also, and they were all pretty easy, simply because I linked up with local people to help me do it. I think as a foreigner, like the system is very, very different here, and getting that local knowledge and getting people on your side will make life like much, much easier. And rather than learn the hard way, you get somebody to give you the shortcut.
And then something about like the hospitality scene and employing people and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Split being a tourist city makes hospitality a pretty easy industry to work in. You have in the summer, maybe not the last 2 years, but in the summer, the place is every day is Saturday, so it's really fun to work in hospitality here. It does, in terms of like working with the city, again, it has its problems. You get a lot of inspections, things like this, and again, you just need to be prepared and understand like how things go in Croatia, and you get around most of that. But generally speaking, it's quite easy, in my experience, to do business here.
And something about employing Croatians, recruiting foreigners, anything like that?
Yeah, so my company is nearly always Croatians. We have 12 employees at the minute, and only 1 foreign national. And hiring third country foreign nationals is a bit more challenging. It requires a bit more paperwork. But again, as long as you have somebody who knows how things go with the system here, generally everything is resolvable. Yeah.
Can you share a bit more about knowing someone who knows how the system works?
Yeah, a prime example would be the first time my friend who is a lawyer went to MUP with me. Hands up if you've been to MUP yet. Oh, okay, you know how it goes. Yeah, exactly. So I would go, and it was always Yoshidan Papir, you know. And my friend, she finally said, okay, this time I'm going to come with you. I'm going to stand behind you, like casually. And if I see that she's making problems, you'll feel the hand on your hip. I felt the hand on my hip after around 3 minutes. And my friend, who is a lawyer, she knows the system, spent 15 minutes with this woman, and after that, I had a 5-year visa. So again, I cannot stress enough, make good local connections, find people you trust, and work together really well with them, and it will save you a lot of headaches and hardship getting what you want to do.
Have you got any tips on how to meet these people other than through having a girlfriend?
Usually in bars, I would recommend either a drink in the Daltonist Craft Bar or Sanctuary. It is a really, really great place to meet people. And actually, I met most of the people I know through my job. Hospitality is a very social industry. You get to meet lots of people. I've been very lucky in that way. But events like this are always great. There's always a good mix of foreigners and locals, people who actually want to make good things happen. And just network as much as possible would be my advice.
Thank you, Luke.
Okay, so thank you guys.
Thank you very much, Luke. So yeah, 4 years here. I remember when Luke came, because we used to work at a school together, and I was telling him about potential issues, and he was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. And then one time we met at Moon Bar, and he was like, fuck. It is. Oh yeah, no, you did well. And he started, then we started sharing a bit more about everything that he'd been through. And it's always an adventure, right? Like opening a business anywhere is an adventure, running a business is an adventure. You're dealing with customers, you're dealing with staff, people are people. So just got to persevere. What we're going to do now is, you've just heard 3 stories. You've heard 2 ladies who are at the beginning of their journey, Luke, who's kind of still at the beginning, I guess, of 2 journeys. So what I would like you to do now is, you have some Post-its near you, and there's some pens swaying around. On your left, we have kind of 4 Post-its. One is about Obert, one is about UDO, one is third nationals, and one is other. So if you have any ideas of how to improve the situation here in Croatia, in terms of these 4 areas, then just write it on a Post-it and slap it on there. And as I said at the beginning, the idea is I'll collect these, and then next week I'll share them with hopefully people that can have a bit of a say. Considering they managed to get a digital nomad permit up, where they don't have to pay tax. I'm hoping we can also push forward with something, but I don't want to write an open letter to Plenkovic. That's been done. Maybe a song about it. I don't know. Some like psyche, something. I don't know. Okay, so we'll take an 8-minute break. Write something down, shove it on there, and then we'll come back for 3 more people. She'll come out in a minute. Cool. Okay. At the moment, I see 1 sticky note. By the end of today, I want to see at least 50. Otherwise, you're not having lunch. Lunch today will be provided by Toyotako. So we'll have a selection of Central American food. I don't know how spicy it will be, but most people here aren't Croatian, so that should be fine. Marin, be careful, it might be spicy. Marin came to England with me once, and one of the things we went for was an Indian.
Worse than last time?
Took him to an Indian restaurant where he was like, it's going to be spicy, it's going to be spicy. And then I got him the mildest dish, like a korma, and he was like, it's still spicy. It wasn't.
It's not like my mom's.
Okay, let's carry on, let's crack on. Next up, I'd like to invite Mahina up, who's going to share a bit more about her situation, and not just her situation, but she actually moved her whole family here. Well, almost all of them. So she's going to share a bit about that. Mahina, welcome to the stage. Round of applause.
Thank you, Michael. So yes, I've moved quite a few of my family over here. I came here with my husband about 4 years ago. We left New Zealand, we're both Kiwis, left New Zealand about 9 years ago, I think, looking for somewhere that we both liked enough to stop and settle. We visited the Caribbean, Bali, lived in China for a little bit, and then got offered a job here. So we are sailors, and we got offered jobs as a lead skipper and lead hostess here. And we fell in love. Did not fall in love with the company we worked for, but definitely fell in love with Croatia. So we decided, you know what, we can do better than the company that we worked for. And we decided to set up our own company. Setting up companies and running our own businesses are kind of in our blood. My parents have run their own businesses ever since I've been alive, and so have Nick's family. So very naively, we kind of thought, yeah, sure, let's do this, it'll be easy. Yeah, no, it wasn't. I have to totally agree with one of the comments that was made earlier, make good Croatian friends. So we were very, very lucky when we first started this company, 45 Degree Sailing is our company, by the way, that we made very good friends who helped us with the process of opening up the oil. We could not have done it without them, and they helped us work through all of the paperwork, go run around the various places that we had to take all the papers, and that was a massive, massive help. They also helped us by employing us during this process. So we got work visas when we were first here, while we could actually set up the company, and that was massive. One of the biggest pieces of advice that we have benefited from a lot since we got here was when we were opening up the company, they asked us to tick a list of things that our company could do. Now, our friend who was helping us said to us, tick all of them. Tick them all. It doesn't matter if you think you're never going to do it, don't just tick sailing. Tick as many of them as you like and we'll submit it, and that has been massive for us because when COVID hit last year and summer hit and we had no trips, we had no guests. Most of our network and our guests are from Australia. And of course, Australia during COVID was completely locked down and none of our guests could come here. So what we did, and why my husband is sitting behind the camera and I am standing in front of the camera, is we pivoted our business and we started doing media, videography and content. We could only do this because of the advice that we were given 4 years ago to tick everything. So I would say that is one massive helpful piece of advice that I want to then give to others is tick everything on that list. I think one of the highlights of us coming to Croatia and one of the biggest things that hooked us about Croatia and working here in Croatia is the community that we've created. So community through Michael and all of the expats that we've met since we've been here, community through the friends that we've met through sailing. Out on the islands, we go to a lot of family-owned businesses, and it's those networks and those communities that have been hugely, hugely helpful during our time here running businesses as well as them bringing my parents over a couple of years ago to help us run the business, because just quietly, I kind of suck at that side of things. To have the 4 of us here and to have work permits, all of us are third nationals, that's been really, really hard. So having that community and that network has been a lot of help. People that you can ask questions to, people that have other contacts that they can ask questions to, that's been absolutely invaluable. Probably one of the most frustrating parts of running a business here in Croatia is the lack of transparent information. So to start off with, what papers do we need? Where do we need to take those papers? No, you don't need those papers, you need something else. No, you don't need those, you need the ones you had to start off with. No, you need something else completely. That has been a trend that has continued throughout the time that we've been here in Croatia. It hasn't changed. Just the things that we need have changed. We also have to, because we employ Nick through our business, 45 Degrees. 45, I think, is actually the name of the business here in Croatia. We have to have 3 Croatian employees. Despite the fact that we are 2 people on a sailing yacht, we don't really need anyone else. But in order to have that work permit, Croatian government says we do. So again, that community has come into play, trying to find people who can actually do things that we actually might need, and then actually keeping them and making enough money to then keep them on the books so that we can stay here. So yeah, probably that transparency is one of our biggest frustrations, is still a frustration to this day. And to be completely honest, we just keep telling ourselves, how much do we want to be here? This is testing us. How much do we actually want to be here in Croatia? So we've been here 4 years so far. That's how much we want to be here, and we are pushing for another year until we can apply for permanent residency. So that's our story. Thank you, Michael.
Excellent. Thank you, Mahina, for that. Talk about employing Croatians and also employing third nationals. There are always ways around it. So if you are in that position to hire 3 Croatians, speak to any other third national who had to hire 3 Croatians. And if you're a third national, speak to other third nationals who are employed by people. Because there's a few potential business ideas there. Forget about sham weddings. I won't say any more because actually I forgot that. Anyway, I've got my Stanley Bodovac now. Can they take that away? I don't know. Next up, we're going to move on, and I'd like to welcome up Keith, who's just taking one last sip of his coffee. Keith is fairly new here, but he's exploded. I've never seen someone start so much so quickly. I don't know what his secret is. Maybe he's part of Hadeze. Maybe he's really married to Colinda. I don't know. He will reveal all now.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Hello, everyone. Keith Kirby, originally first generation South African, parents from England. My wife is a Kuzmanich, and first generation South African from fathers from the island of Vis. So that is where the love affair with Croatia started. I'm a bit of a serial entrepreneur. I've had some successful failures, learned a lot from them. And why I decided to start a new business at this stage of life, who knows, but I'm passionate about the environment and trying to make a difference. Prior to this, I was developing solar and wind farms on utility scale. So typically a project would be in the region of $350, $400 million. And then that came to an end due to corruption in South Africa, and we moved here in January. So I came through last year during COVID to set up a production facility. And what do? We've got 3 legs: eco-friendly, biodegradable insecticide control systems. So that's using pyrethrum from chrysanthemum daisies in Australia. So it biodegrades and is very efficient knocking down flying and crawling insects. Then we do a insect repellent, which comes from eucalyptus trees, and that's you can wear on your body, and it's effective for up to 8 hours. Then we do little sachets. So instead of shipping a 750 ml bottle that's going to be used once full of water and 9 grams of concentrate, we ship a little sachet. You use your own bottle, we drop it in there, you fill it up with water, and you're good to go, and it's environmentally friendly. So that's on the cleaning side. And then, very topical, is we make disinfectants. Now, everyone thinks, well, yeah, everyone's on the bandwagon. Well, our disinfectant's a little bit different. It's very efficient, but you can also kill all the germs in your mouth with it. Now, how we make that, it's called hypochlorous acid. It's very simple. Your body, your white blood cells make hypochlorous acid. Whenever your body's been got viruses or germs attacking, the white blood cells go there and they make the hypochlorous acid, and it's neutral, so it sort of annihilates the germs and bacteria. So how it's made, we take water, we clean it up through a reverse osmosis system. We then add a pure salt in a form of brine. It's not iodized. That destroys the system. And then we put a very high electrical charge through. And what that does, it disassociates the chlorine from the salt. And that is what makes hypochlorous acid. The chlorine is very different from what you have in bleach and everything else. Now, that hypochlorous acid is neutral. So the viruses we've got are either positively or negatively charged. So they repel anything that's going to come in and attack them for a period of time. Ultimately, if you swamp it in alcohol, yes, it will die. But probably so will all the surfaces and everything you've got around it. And like on a yacht, alcohol is not, at the strength of 70 or 80% is not a good thing. So hypochlorous acid is, you can spray it on vegetables, kills the pathogens, your vegetables and fruit last longer. So there's a whole myriad of applications for it. So I came here in July last year to get a factory. So the first place we went to was down at the shipyard, and these guys saw foreigner, thank you very much. We're going to write some checks on this poor guy. And I got the offer, now they understood I use a lot of water. So instead of your 11 kuna per cubic meter, went to 26. So I said, well, thank you very much. I can't work with guys that are wanting to get rich quick. So luckily enough, we found a little facility here next to the Nada Rugby Club, and you're all welcome to come and have a look. It's small. The whole facility is a little bit smaller than this room. It's about 107 square meters, and in there we've got everything, and we produce our disinfection and catalyte there. So part of the learning curve is you've got to set up a company, right? So I go to the lawyer who'd reduced before, and I said, our brand is Robosol. So I wanted Robosol DOO. But, you know, lawyers are lazy. So he decided, no, it had to be something that describes the business. So we ended up with Robotic Solutions, DOO. And I mean, it's just because I just was pulling my hair out. So I accepted that he would go with Robotic Solutions. He wasn't going to fight. He wasn't interested. He doesn't make a lot of money out of it. So that's the way it is. So one of the first iterations. What else is there? Yeah, everyone wants to, in setting up the plant, it was originally a laundry. So we had to gut it and then make a clean room. So yeah, now I was a bit remote, so I had a local lady helping me, and we put in these fancy screeded floors, paid the money, and I arrived here, and it wasn't quite the level I was expecting. I was expecting epoxy, and that was, you could eat your breakfast off it. This was a paint that's close to epoxy, but not the same. So once again, these guys are all, you've got to watch every single little iteration. So anyway, long story short, we then had to get biocidal registration, because anything that kills or disinfects is a biocide. So you have to go to the Ministry of Health and get, you apply, and then they go through everything. And this is 14, 15 pages in Croatian. Now, I'm fluent in English and body language, so this wasn't going to help me. So anyway, on about the 18th iteration, we got approved. So we got the biocidal approval. Now we're going to do a material safety data sheet for each of our products. Thankfully, that's just a notification, and then you get a number, as opposed to biocide, where they want to look at everything and see how it's made, and so on and so forth. So, lots of money, lots of experience, a cranky lady that was assisting us in Zagreb. We still got a few outstanding. They always look for an angle. I didn't quote for that, so it's another 200 euros. So these are the little landmines that you step on. And then I'd met Michael 2 or 3 years ago, and Michael said, we've got this great program. And that has been really, I really appreciate all the assistance and being able to talk to people, having doors opened, and then meeting more people. So it's been fantastic. But the startup, there's always a little surprise waiting around every corner. So here's our label. Okay, so environmentally friendly. I mean, you don't need to read too much, but anything on this label of interest, something that you can pick up. No, a cleaning product that's environmentally friendly, and it's red. It's a warning sign. I mean, what a disaster. And we've gone through all of this. The website was done. So now we've gone for the blue, which is infinitely better. So you go through these learning curves, and you know, it's 2 steps forward, 1 sideways, 1 back. And so it's been a really, really interesting journey. And then you get a spelling mistake, and you've already printed 50 labels. So now, bang, they go, and so it's you know, it's a continuous revision. So where we're at the moment, we've sent a whole bunch of samples off to Poland, and we will get an independent laboratory certification in the next couple of weeks. So you've got a whole bunch of different levels. So we've gone for medical grade, and then hand and surface. So there's a whole bunch, and that's, you know, the whole thing, it's always money. So that's another 7,000 euros for the tests. But you have to speculate and be driven to get there. And the good news, today we've got our first order. So I'm really, really excited. But very small, but you just got to get the, you know, the door open and to move further afield. And then another little problem is you spend all this time building a really, really good website, and then you go and you need a payment gateway. So 6 weeks later, we've just been approved. But these guys, they said you can't put disinfection up there because you're making claims that it kills 99% of the viruses and you can't back it up. So, American company, so now you just send all the information to them and we'll get back to you. Anyway, 3 weeks of technical papers, justification, we got approved. So now the website hopefully will be live this weekend. So that will also assist in getting going. So yeah, so that's my story. You know, we've had to employ quite a few Croatians. I've been lucky. I've got 2 guys that really want to work. They're young. One hadn't been employed for 9 months. And the more I get to know him, the more depth I'm seeing, which is fantastic. So anyway, that's my story, and it's having met Luke recently again. You know, in networking, he knows a great lawyer. It's that network that assists you so much. Okay. Well, I haven't contacted you yet, but we will. Are you Dalmatian or from Zagreb? Oh, but that's what it's all about. It's the networking amongst us guys and girls that makes such a difference. And so, you know, we live in the, I think, the most amazing part of the world. And that's great. Oh, one other thing. I love the attitude. As soon as we go to the press, so we're now making ourselves bulletproof, because we have one competitor here, and they've all warned me, the second we get up there, they're going to get the dirty tricks team out to come and investigate. Have we got all the right permits? Have we done this? Have we done that? Whereas, yeah, I mean, it's normal business, it's normal trade, but you have to start thinking that these guys are going to attack. But it's just weird. It's the way it is. But half of my product is going into Europe. The Croatian market is great because it's where I live, but the exports into Europe. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Keith, for that. Yeah, so the whole story, as Keith said, we met a few years ago, and then he moved here permanently last year, and from just telling me his idea to actually having the plant and producing it really, really short time. So really impressive, Keith. I hope that everything goes well. Yeah, so one thing Keith mentioned there, again about the networking, about meeting people. So not through Luke actually, but through someone Luke knows well, I was asking when we were starting this project, okay, I need to have good accountants that come recommended, I need to know lawyers that come recommended, I need to know people that know tax that come recommended, because it's not just coming recommended, but it's also coming recommended having worked with foreigners, because that does make a difference. And also with the English, that's also another key thing as well, so that you can ask them questions about crazy business stuff that they fully understand. And one of the hardest things I find here is finding those people that that have that empathy, because obviously these people are always Croatian, and so it's hard for them to put themselves in your shoes. So when you explain about having to invest 200,000 kunas to open a DO, when you have to explain about hiring 3 Croatians, when you have to explain about somebody at Mulp giving you the wrong information, they kind of relate because they have to deal with administration as well, but they very rarely take on your fight. Now that's changed. There's definitely a few people that have helped me with that. Sanya 100%, Marin 100%, and recently I've also thankfully met Marina, who is going to join me now because she won her law case earlier. Congratulations. Moving on, next up, we are, how are we doing for time actually? Okay, half past. I hope to finish all this by 12 o'clock. So all of you that know that you're going to speak, that's just a kind of a bit of a friendly, you know, something. Next up, we have Heidi. Over to you. By the way, she's about to talk about what she does, and these 2 things are thanks to Heidi. I have my personal stylist now.
I've also been styling multiple members in Ivica Puljak, and the now mayor of Split in his party. I'm Heidi. I'm also first generation South African, and I think that has only benefited me living in Croatia, because in South Africa we are born having to fight for everything, always from the minute we are born. So I think that has helped me. I won't talk too much about the exact business, how to open the obert or whatever, but my situation is quite unique. I came to Croatia after working as a lawyer in the United States. I was also not a lazy lawyer. That has also benefited me a lot in Croatia, just having that mindset that you have to fight for everything and you have to adapt to everything, which is, yeah. I came here to study medicine. I moved over here by myself and at that time my 1-year-old baby, and I came here to study medicine. And this was like a huge bomb for Split. I really just rocked everyone's world, not in a good way, but everyone was extremely confused as to why I was here studying medicine with a baby. How many times I was asked, "Where's your husband?" every single day, just made me want to scream. I at one point I wasn't allowed to go to the police station. My medical university had to do all of the communication, because the people in the police department, first, they don't speak English in the foreign department. Second, they would call me horrible names. They would yell at me. They would tell me, "Where's your husband?" All this stuff so many times that I had to stop communication. My university had to take over. So that has really been not fun for me. Every single time I have to do something new, whether it be a visa, like I'm South African, so I'm third country national. I'm here on a student visa. My time counts for half time towards permanent residency. When I finished medical school last year and became a doctor, I had to, because it was in the middle of COVID, I had to apply for a new visa because mine was expiring. And I had been up to Zagreb. I went to the embassy to find out the details maybe a year or two beforehand. So I knew exactly what I had to apply for. I had to apply for a searching for work visa, and then my son would have to be on a humanitarian visa. Weird combo, but that's how it was set. I came to the police station in Split, and I was told that I was stupid. I was told that that doesn't exist. And so I was like, the law, here. I printed out all of the laws, laminated, and they wouldn't look at the paper. I put it in front of their face, and they were like, it doesn't exist. To look it, doesn't exist. So I was like, I'm calling Zagreb again. Called, and surprise, I was correct. I did get my visa, but after a lot of work, every time I go there, I have to give myself a pep talk because it's just so infuriating every time I go. Because every time you try to do something new in Croatia, but I think especially in Split's like the Cape Town of South Africa, which is where I'm from. So I'm used to the bureaucracy and really, when people don't know something here, they tell you no instead of I don't know. It happens a lot in South Africa as well. But then you could be standing somewhere and I'd be like, "Where's the screen?" And they're like, "It doesn't exist." And I'm like, "I'm literally looking at it behind you." So that, coupled with the lack of language communication, it's really been a struggle for me. So. Also, with my time, I've been here for 6 years now, but my time I was studying, so it counts for half time. So to have permanent residency, you have to have 5 years. Mine, as a student, counts as half time, which Split, Dalmatia did not know. I had to go to the Zagreb embassy, and they had to inform me. So at the end of the summer, my offspring, my 7-year-old son, will apply for permanent residency, and I will have to piggyback on him to get permanent residency, This I know because I have a lot of lawyer friends that I found in my trials and tribulations who are now some of my very good friends, and I also have friends in different one political party, one only, that helped me really get to the actual root of the problem and to see how many ways we can get around the laws that they've placed or how to rewrite a part of it to get in to how we would like to do it. My son was also the first non-Croatian with no Croatian ties to ever enter the public school system. So that had to be changed. We had to do a bunch of different things, which I was told was not possible, but in the end they were, of course. We just had to find our own way. So it is very exhausting. I have a little bit of experience, I guess more than most people, because I did used to work in law. I am South African, so I'm born having to fight for every single thing. But it's very exhausting, and if you don't find the right people along the way, you are going to have a very hard time, not only with the actual things themselves, but you will just be destroyed. Like your mentality, your hope will be, they try to crush it, but there really is always a way. You just have to keep going. I really, the past 6 years, if I had stopped to think about what I was doing, I don't know if I would have been able to push my way through, to become a doctor, to make it through, to decide to stay in Croatia now. I will stay here, but there is a way. You just have to keep going, and people are one of the best ways to keep up that motivation. You have to have a good team around you. I didn't have any contact until, when did I meet you? I went through everything without knowing this existed, so like September. So I just graduated, gone through the whole visa doesn't exist thing, yes it does, all of that. But going forward now, I have a business where I do styling, personal styling and selling of secondhand vintage and secondhand clothing. And it's a bit complicated. You guys have already spoken about all of the determining factors you need, how many people, how much money. It'll be easier now when I get permanent residency, but I would have had to face every single thing that you guys, as third country nationals, have had to with the hiring of the Croatians or the amount of money. The amount of money that's been needed has changed even in the past 2 years, I think. Yeah. So it's a lot. It's really a lot to have to comprehend, but companies or organizations like this absolutely make it a million times easier, because sometimes you just need to know one other person to help you get around, really. So that's all for me.
Thank you very much, Heidi. Yeah, giving us a bit of insight there into, MUP, basically, who we've all had to deal with, and we love them dearly. There are some stars in MUP, for sure, right? There's young Maria, I call her. I don't know if she's still in Split. I'm in Castella, and they are amazing. They bend over backwards for you. You go in, you walk in. They've been really, compared to Split, so good, and they know their stuff as well. Actually, Marina, it was funny, Marina was like, I just had a really good thing with the police. And I was like, from Castella. She was like, how do you know? Ivanka, yeah. How do you know Ivanka? Well, luckily I'm with Castella. I know that Nick and family also have had a good experience in Castella. And I think one of the reasons is in Castella there is a population of people from Bosnia and Serbia. So they're a bit more used to dealing with some of that foreign paperwork. In Split, hopefully now they're a lot more used to it. But yeah, all we can do is share our experiences, inform them, and see if we can, have those contacts. Or I was thinking one of the problems was language. Having those badges like you have in London, if you ever go to London, in cafes they'll have a name badge, and on that name badge it will tell you what languages they speak. So straight away you know if they can speak your language or not, and that makes a big difference. Whether you need to have a Croatian with you or not. So. Okay, moving on. We've got Sanya, who's going to tell you how to beat the system. And not pay tax. No, I'm joking. Sanya, you've got 7 minutes.
I have numbers on a piece of paper.
Okay, cool. Bring it up. You've got 7 minutes, Sanya.
Okay.
7 minutes.
And I'm going to time you. And then after that, we have 3 more long-termers, three more veterans. I won't call them old, but old to Croatia. Over to you.
Hi, my name is Sanya. I'm an accountant, and that's why you have a piece of paper with numbers on it, because this is how I function day to day. And because I have only a couple of minutes, I was thinking about an example to just give you what accounting can do for you. This is more of a consultancy issue, so I would say to you, when you work with your accountant in Croatia, as you have already seen, there are a lot of laws, a lot of paperwork, and accountants have to deal with this every day as well. So we are very busy, but we do have some knowledge, and if you want to have it, you have to be active participants in this relationship with your accountant, because sometimes we're too busy, but we can help you a lot. So just be active, don't be passive, don't just wait for the emails from the accountant. Ask. I read this, what does this mean? I read that, what does this mean? So this is an example of how you can use tips to, decrease your cost as a company. I put this minimum worker salary, which for 2021 is 3,400 kunas netto. Your total cost for them as a company is this, 4,951. So basically, out of that, he gets 3,400, and the government makes this 1,550. Okay, so let's say your worker doesn't want this salary; it's too small amount, and he wants, let's say, something like this. Can you achieve this from this without additional taxes or government subsidies? Answer is yes. So in the last couple of years, the government has introduced some non-taxable income to help companies to make sure their employees are happy, let's say like that. So the most common, I'm not going to go into all of them. If somebody is interested, I will be here after this. So the most common ones are work bonuses, for food, money for additional food, rent, for example. So if you are employed in your own company, this applies to you as well. So if you are paying rent or your employee is paying rent to somebody, you can pay this from your company. So let's say I put all of this in average monthly salary. So this is 416 for work bonus, 416 for food, and let's say he pays rent 2,000 kunas a month. So this, let's put what he was making before, and this adds to 6,232 kunas he gets from you. So what do you have to pay for this? So you pay this like you did before. That stays the same. So he gets, instead of 3,400, he gets 6,200, and you don't have to add additional money for the government. So your total cost is this. It was increased basically just by this amount that the worker gets. Let's say if you want to pay him this amount, but without including this non-taxable income. So you go to a website where you can calculate your salary, and you put this as netto, the part that worker gets, and your total cost ends up looking like this. It's 10,000 and something. So you can see the difference here. It adds up to 2,262 kunas. This is what you now is being left in your company instead of being paid to the government. So there are ways to increase your worker salary without paying extra taxes, extra government stuff. But this is something that your accountant can give you upfront or maybe not. He will just say, okay, this is netto, this is total, that's your contract, that's it. So you have to ask if he doesn't give you the answer you want right away. So just ask, oh, is there any way I can do this without paying all of this? And then he will tell you because he knows this. But if sometimes accountants just give you a straightforward answer, you say, okay, netto is this much, how much is total? And he gives you a straightforward answer, which is this. Sometimes they work around and tell you immediately, okay, you can use this, you can use that. But if your accountant doesn't work like that, you have to ask. That's what I'm saying. You have to be more active. Because, I don't know if it's a matter of laziness or whatever, sometimes they don't count in those consultancy services as a part of accounting, because a lot of people are confused what accountancy is. They expect a lot of consulting work as a part of it. So if you just then try to see what kind of accounting your accountant is the kind of a person who will tell you this upfront without you even asking it. If he's not, then push yourself. Like it is with lawyers and people in offices. Sometimes it's a matter of not knowing their stuff. Sometimes it's a matter of being too busy and not having the time for you, but just push away and then see how he or she reacts. This is a minimum worker salary for a company that's run by a Croatian or EU citizen. You obviously, I'm sure you've heard, salaries are higher for people who are coming from third countries. That's why Michael said if you know somebody who is in the same position with you, talk to him before. If you are running a company that doesn't have the funds to manage all of those higher salaries, see what kind of workarounds they are for you. Because, they put these things in effect in the laws without, putting much thought about what kind of people want to open businesses in Croatia. It's not just tech millionaires who want to open businesses here, it's smaller companies as well. So for those who can't pay all of those salaries, my advice is, which was the point of a place like this, talk to other people who are in the same positions as you and how they approach this.
Thank you, Sonia. Sonia's my accountant, so she knows what it's like to be pushed time and time again, mentally, emotionally. No, she's great. She's been really helpful. She's part of the project as well. So every week we're in here 1 day a week. I'm here normally. Sanya's here, Marin's here. So feel free to come along, and if you have any questions, then you can pop in and ask anything to Sanya. You can also, like, you don't want to do this, but sometimes you have to kind of double check what your accountant or your lawyer or someone else is telling you, right? You need to back up. They said, no, you can't do it. You ask someone else, maybe they say you can, and then you ask, okay, show me where this is in the law or in paperwork, and that really helps. Moving on briefly, let's go on to the veterans now. No, perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah, and that was very good, Alan. Okay, I'm going to go from Alan straight over to Simone now, another veteran. Simone.
Hi guys. First of all, I apologize for my English. I have so many languages in my mind, and all of them are not correct. I'm Simone. I'm from Italy. I came here for the first time 2002, 2003 as a tourist. And I immediately loved Split. Maybe remind my hometown. I live close to Rome. I used to live close to Rome. And in 10 years, I started to come every single season, even during the winter time. And I love during the winter time, more quiet and relaxed. In Italy, I was managing a nightclub, an Oriental cafe, like a shisha bar. And I love my job. I mean, I was without anything to do the whole day, and training, going out with friends, and then at 9 o'clock in the evening, and just open the door and wait for friends, because a shisha bar is a really relaxing place where to work. And I wanted my life to be complicated, so I decided to kids. And I opened in Italy a company. It's a football events company, and I'm still doing this. This is something I can do here from Split. So it was the key, because I decided to move here, because I had the chance to work as a nomad, actually. I just organized my stage. We organize football events for all clubs from all over the world, mostly in Italy. They come for a week in Italy or more, and we organize football, friendly match, trainings. I'm a trainer too. And everything's great. I mean, we travel a lot. We travel for our passion. I started to play football when I was 4 years ago, so it's a lovely life. But I need a reason to move here, because I just cannot say I go to Split and just stand up my computer and waiting for my stage to go in Italy too. And I had the opportunity to work for a touristic agency at the beginning, and I came just for the season in 2013. It was lovely. I love to work during the day, and you work 5 meters from the seaside, you go to the beach every day. That was really great. And the winter came, and was a nightmare. It was a nightmare because it was the first year for Croatia in EU. So they didn't know the rules. They didn't know what was changing at the time. For my visa, they started to say, Italians have no right to work in Croatia, because Italy closed the border to Croatian workers at that time. But I didn't ask for a working visa. I asked for a family visa, because my actual wife, my girlfriend at that time, she's Croatian. So I had all the rights to do it. And I prepared all my laws, I read everything, and I bring it to Castella. Ivanka, she was not working at the time. And they started to say, okay, you bring these papers, but you need other 10 papers. So second times, all the 10 papers. And I write it down and say, oh yeah, everything's good. You just need to bring us other paper. And I just get crazy. I just stand up and say, let's go back to Italy. And I say, no, you don't have to do this. And after a couple of months, I had my first permanent visa for 5 years. I survived the winter, mostly working in Italy for the football events. And then when I was decided to go back to Italy around April or May, because I say, okay, there's no reason I can come here just as a tourist. I met 2 amazing people from US, from Honduras, Tim and Monique, maybe some of you know it, and they were opening a bar. As in Italy, I was managing a bar for 10 years. I said, okay, let's go. Let's do it something together. They were needing the last bartenders. So a few days before the opening, I jumped in, and it was amazing. It was really, really great. We had some support from regular people. Chad with the pub crawl, Alan with the Ulster. Michael was there from the beginning, I think, yeah? And the fact that every day we had regulars at the bar, that reminded me a lot of our Italian style, because I was used to go to the bar alone, and after 2 minutes get friends with everybody. When I used to come here as a tourist, you enter a bar alone, and you went out alone. It's like this, and you couldn't sit at the bar. You just had to look for your table, and it was horrible. We started to change this attitude, and then thanks God now things are different. I never saw a town moving on so fast like in the last 5 years, maybe. And then pandemic arrived, so I work in this industry, football, sports, and bars and restaurants. Everything closed, but actually I decided to jump out from the restaurant before the COVID arriving, because with some child at home, I couldn't go home at 5 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 5:30. So I started to do something different, and I decided to open some company here. They are just on a break, waiting for COVID to go out, hopefully soon. And now we are facing what to open. Robert, Gedeo, Deo, we have a lot of information. We met a lot of great people, giving a lot of advices. But as a lot of us say, just go there, ask for them, ask 10,000 times. Just let them, as Alan say now, okay, I was a bartender, to me it was a little bit easier maybe. When you go to talk with someone, flirt a little bit. Every time I go home and my wife says, it was good in the office, it was great, I had a lot of information. Was the ladies? Yeah, it was. Usually it was like this. But sometimes they don't know. So just bring more information, put them to ask colleagues to get more information for you, such as things, and they're open minded to do this now. Of course, you can be unlucky and look for the young one that just are waiting for the retirement, so they don't want something new to investigate too. But usually you can have the chance to have great people, and they were the same people that will come to as inspectors to you. So get friends there. I'm Italian. In Italy, it's not that different. Bureaucracy is crazy. Corruption is crazy. I was managing a really, really quiet club, and we had police every night. People were almost sleeping in the couch, and they say, "Oh, someone called us. It was some mess here." So get ready. You will always have someone jealous of your job, but try to create a chain. If you're opening a restaurant or a bar, it's the most beautiful things that to work all together. When I used to work in Italy, we just moving from a bar to the other, just looking for friends. The first one that closed arrived immediately to your bars, and you do the same. Here at the beginning, everybody was looking at us like something new. Why they open? Why they are full of people here? They are not offering nothing special, and this was frustrating. But then the opposite side, you will always have people that love what you are doing. Laws are a little bit difficult, but not more than other countries. I can assure you. I still have my company there, as I told you, and we don't have any employees because of taxes. And in Italy, if you have a company, taxes will be over 60%. So you work for them. So you're just looking for something like this, something that cuts your costs. So before thinking how much you can get from your job, think how less you can pay from your job. This is your first. You will survive anyway. Of course, I have to tell something that Sunny already knows. This is great if you own a company. If you're a worker, because then when you lost your job, your salary will be this one. If you need some help from the government, you will have the help from that salary. Let's say if you could live for this before, now why you have to pay more? If you are a female worker and you get pregnant, you will have your salary with the official one. So try to find a compromise, of course. We all need a job, so you are ready to accept everything. Say, okay, I will not pay a lot of tax, so black cash. It's not always the best solution, but of course, if you can show that you have other costs in your company, do it. This is totally legal, it's totally understandable, and they give you the support to go on. Another thing, try to do it. I mean, I'm always waiting for the perfect situation. Okay, maybe the business will have to wait, maybe the laws still not so clear, so we will wait, and then we wait 10 years. Try to do it, open your company, open your business, and then adjust it step by step, without doing great mistakes, because you will pay a lot of mistakes. But start. I learned from just from UK people, American people, to just jump on the train and then try to correct. I was getting crazy because I would do it step by step. And if you wait step by step, will not work any. So try it, and try it in Split, because it's still an amazing town. It's changing too much. I hope that something will remain as the same Split I found 20 years ago. Because it's a simple example, I had a surgery and nobody knew about it. But just one person got the information, and I had like 100 messages from people that I met once in my life, local people that say, if you need help, my sister, she's working there, or my uncle, is working there. So they had a great big heart here. I always say it's like a small town in Italy 30 years ago, and in a really good way. And I hope to not to lose this. For the rest, what happened, say why you want to do it. Because somewhere else, they do already it and it works. I tried, when I used to come as a tourist, I went a lot of time to the administration, asking if I had this idea, like the hostel. I had the shisha bar idea, and I say, but what is this exactly? Okay, I do this, what I need to do it correctly, to don't want to go to prison because I import tobacco illegally. Say, we have no idea what to do. But now, everybody do it. So step by step, you can always be the first one to do something. And of course, if you do it for first, your advantages. So keep on. Sure.
Thank you very much, Simone. Still very much involved in football, although getting slower. Yeah, we all are. Yeah. It's all right. You're on my team tonight, so I have to deal with you. But last but not least, today we have Chad joining us, another one of the veterans. Again, Chad, 7 minutes. Sorry,
I
mate.
will keep this really short.
Oh, perfect. Because as far as I know, there's food waiting for us.
Yes, no problem. I don't know if I don't need to. I'll keep this very short. Al has touched on a lot. I think we're here, some of us older ones, just kind of to explain what it used to be like when we were here. I came here in 2008 and opened my first business. I've been here for 13 years now. I own 2 DOOs, 2 JDOOs, and Obert. I've been through a lot of these things. One of the things that's absolutely fantastic is being here today. When we came, especially those that came a long time ago, we didn't have support groups like this. We didn't have people giving us this advice. People like Michael, and I know Sarah, and a lawyer and some accountants that are giving us that. It was very difficult to navigate the waters. And a lot of those things that we went through were very different. We had, for myself, I think you had said, Al, it was 1 year and 3 months for you to get your first license. I had hired a lawyer when I came here, and it took me 10 months, just to get a business license here. That was a lot to go through, and everyone was so happy for me that I had done it in 10 months and how expedited that was. And I had paid a fortune for the lawyer to get that through and to find the one in town that spoke English back then. As I did not speak any of the language when I came here. I have no nationality roots or anything like that. I actually became a children's clown. That's actually a true story. I needed 10 months. I had nothing to do, and I needed to make some sort of money. I didn't have any money here, so being an illegal children's clown was something that I could do, and I would put signs up of Roko the Clown, and Roko was the first Croatian name I knew. So I had signs, and I would put them up and get calls for birthday parties. I had to do them all with a kazoo in my mouth, as I couldn't speak the language and didn't know what the kids were saying to me. So I would just do it like a kazoo, because you just were a silly clown. And I did that for about 10 months. Until my first business license came. I ended up doing it for a few more months, just by going on YouTube, learning balloon animals, looking at it, and trying to be creative and having some until I could get my first business license. A lot of the problem with getting that back then was it was still part of the old socialist system here, where everyone had a job, and this person's job was to stamp this one piece of paper. And you couldn't take that job from someone else. We didn't have Heatro back then, so you had to go from building to building, and it would take you 3 weeks to get this stamp, and then to this building, and then find that person, and it had to be done in an order. So it was quite frustrating and quite annoying to go through, but it was part of coming and being part of the culture here. That's what it was. New businesses weren't thriving. There was no tourism 13 years ago. It really wasn't. There were a few of us in town. Really, there were only a few of us that I know that have been here, that are still here, I guess, to go through that. We had a large stack of papers that we went through. You think they're large now. They were books and books and books. I got through a stack about that big, and I was missing about 2/3 of them. But I opened anyway. So I just couldn't wait anymore. I actually opened a Ponchos. It was a Mexican cantina back then in 2008. It was way ahead of its time. As we all know, Croatians aren't really a big fan of spicy. And in 2008, with no tourism town, it was not my best decision. But I did do it, and I opened it, and it worked mildly, to say the best. I only had it for a few years, but during that time, I pivoted, and I created probably what I'm most known for is the pub crawls here in town. And I pivoted to that to try to draw some business in and to survive, to go through that. That then grew into something else. Now I've been able to branch out into more businesses with some other bars and some other hospitality industries, tourism companies, and things like that. And a lot of that has been touched on. Things, I have a bunch of stuff here that I was going to say, but they've already been touched on over and over about how to do all these things that you guys have done. It's great that you have these resources here. But the biggest thing I would say is to stay positive and be creative. When I came here, I started something. It didn't work. I pivoted to this. It grew a little bit. From there, I've opened a new business every year since I've been here. Not necessarily in Split. I've opened them in Dubrovnik. I've opened them in Zadar. I have failed more times than I've been successful. But it's about getting back up and keep driving forward and trying to find solutions. Opening a business in any country is difficult. It's very difficult here, just like anywhere. And a lot of that is staying positive and moving forward. And that's the greatest thing when you find these groups of people that have been around you, that have supported you, that will get you through. It's really important to do that. The other thing, sorry, I've got my notes here. Yeah, we've talked about delayed paperwork and things. I do remember this one thing. When I would come here and I was trying to get legal, they used to do the trick where the very first day I would come in, you had 90 days to get your paperwork through. They would ask me all the time, why do you want to come here? Everyone's trying to go to America. I just want to go here, file the paperwork. And a lot of it was they didn't know how to process the paperwork back then, so they wouldn't do it. So they would delay me for the 90 days. I would come in there every day, every week, trying to get them to process the paperwork. It wouldn't go through. And then after the 90 days, they'd say, you're expired, you need to leave the country. And that happened to me for 4 years. For 4 years, I worked here. My companies were legal, but I was never legal to be here and run them. I did it anyway. That probably shouldn't be on the internet. I did it anyway, to work here for 4 years to try to make it through here. And that was one of the things, is going creatively and doing that. I did have, of course, Croatian employees and things, but I wasn't going to just leave a company here and not watch it. But that's how I started running all those things. Other than that, I would just say, don't be afraid. We have heard some things here about, I've heard people talking about the mob is here and they're going to come harass you and to do all those things. 13 and 20 years ago, they were a problem in this town. They are not anymore. It was a very real thing back then. And for those of us that went through it, it was not a fun thing that we went through. I'm not going to talk about the experiences I had to go through. I'm sure Al has dealt with this. I'm sure we all have that have been here a long time. Those are not anymore here. Do not be scared of them. Do not be afraid that they're going to come in and do anything to you. It's not a reality. I hear people sometimes here locally still saying that it's there. It really just is bad PR for expats making excuses to come through here. Everyone gets inspected. You are not getting picked on. Be prepared. When you have a business, be prepared. They are going to inspect you. Everyone does. It has nothing to do with you being a foreigner. I know anyone that's had a business here has had an inspection at some point on a long enough timeline. It's just part of the game that you go through. Rules change, as we've been talking about here. So stay on top of that. It's wonderful that we have people now that can help us get through those rules and to go through. I think one last thing is, like I said, be creative, find a solution. There's always a solution. You need to go through. You need to be able to figure out ways around the laws, not necessarily illegally, but how to look at the laws and interpret them in your own ways. Talk to people, ask myself, ask those of us that have been here. We're always happy to help. I do have people ask me questions all the time, and I've always been helpful to go through. I still think Croatia is a land of opportunity. There is no way, if I were back in the States still, that I would own this many companies or have had the opportunities to at least take this many chances on ideas and companies. Like I said, many have failed, but that's okay. A lot of them have worked as well. So, and they've cost me ridiculous amount of money to open these companies there with a lot of the things that you don't have to have. So take chances if you have an idea. I encourage everyone to go for it. Don't be afraid of it. I understand it can be a lot of money, but I still think Croatia is the land of opportunity. It's growing massively, especially when we came here, there was no tourism. That really started about 8 years ago. It started to blossom into that, really booming, and before, of course, Corona and going through. So that's all I have to say. If anyone has any questions, always feel free to ask. Those of us that have been here, we're happily to give advice. Yes?
Main question, when's Pancho's opening again?
Fair enough. Hopefully soon. Well, Al has a place now, so Al's part of a Mexican place as well. I used to have a burrito stand that we've shut down during the virus. So, what's that? Tried it. Couldn't get the laws through. One that was very different. I've actually got 2 new businesses that I'm opening this year. One of them I've been working on a year trying to get the paperwork through because it's a new product. I know Nick has been a part of helping me out on things like that. To watching me go through this frustration of a plan we had to promote it 9 months ago, and we've still been waiting on it. But during that time, I pivoted and found another one. So I have a new small venture coming up as well that will be out next month. So it's important to kind of keep trying things and to go, and there's so many opportunities here. Be creative, put something new into the market. Don't order a pizza. Don't open a pizza shop. Don't open a cevapi shop. There's so many things that can come in here, and to be creative and to give people what they want and to pay attention to it. So, any questions? No?
What your businesses are?
I have I'm most known for Tower Pub Crawl here, which I started in 2008. It's a pub crawl for backpackers and things. I'm sure Al has had many of my guests back when he was a hostel. And hated them when we brought them home drunk. Yeah, I know. We still do that to there. I own the Sanctuary downtown. I have some apartment rentals and a tour company and things like that. And some other small ones. We're actually opening a vending machine business. That's the one that opens in another month. So, and I failed on many an idea, but.
Do you have a blog?
No, I do not. So. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Well, thank you to everyone that spoke today. As we have seen, like the point of those last 3 was to actually see how much work has gone in before we've arrived here. These guys, they're kind of pioneers in not just only being kind of foreigners here, but also entrepreneurs, really pushing things as we know we all have to do, right? And everyone's story kind of comes together and creates a more powerful force in terms of pushing Croatia towards kind of what we hope it to be as a foreign entrepreneur here. As many people commented, like, this isn't unique to Croatia. I come from the UK, we've got a long history of dealing with foreign entrepreneurs, foreign migrants. It's not easy for them either. My brother-in-law is from New Zealand, he was married to my sister, and my parents still had to find a connection to get him indefinite leave to remain. My other brother-in-law is from Canada. He faced similar issues despite being married to my sister for so many years. So this isn't unique to Croatia, but we're here today, and that's why we're talking about Croatia in particular. So we're just like, you can stay here for as long as possible, well, not as long as possible, but now we've got food just behind the curtain. Tony's going to open the curtain for us. Big reveal. There it is. So help yourself. Oh, and there's someone else we know. Give us a wave. Monique's over there. So before you help yourself to food, I just want to shout out to a few people. First of all, Marin, he was part of putting this project together. Before now, it's been very, before now it's been very informal, right? So like Chad said, people would come and ask him for questions. For the last 5 years, I've had people come and ask me because I'm a bit of a law geek for some reason. Now I blame my father, actually. I'm blaming my parents. So now it's good to be a bit more formalized, right? And we'll see how this can continue. Sanya, as I said, she's here all the time. If you have any accounting questions, she just finished some stuff on tax as well, so maybe she knows a bit more about tax now. Yes. And also, I'm just going to shout out some companies that I know are here. So we have Vivero Plants, Roxana, we have Second Style Around, we have Lashes, Au Natural Lash, we have Toye Taco, we have Robosol, we have The Daltonist, we have Sanctuary, we have, I don't know what Simone's new company is called. We have Bartosz Mahesh, who was here and not here, and hopefully he'll be back. So we have loads of people here who have companies. We have 45 Degrees Sailing, we have Hashtag Content Agency at the back, we have Toye Taco. So there's loads of us doing business here. And one thing the other day I noticed on one Facebook page called Glas Poduzetnika, that's a non-profit organization here that's trying to stick it to the man. They're trying to get the government to change laws to make it more entrepreneurial friendly. And somebody posted an article about a British guy that moved to work for Remax. And they were like, oh, like there are a lot of, no one say hateful comments, but comments like saying, oh yeah, he's just come here, what pay is he going to be here, how long is he going to survive here? When he realizes what Croatia's like, then he'll leave. And I put on that, actually, there are a lot of entrepreneurs here, foreign entrepreneurs, that work here and live here all year round and contribute as much as they can to society in Croatia. And then there are a few people that like the comment, and one person said something along the lines of, what, 4 of them? So doing something like this and being able to share that as well changes that perception, because I think that's one of the perceptions we have to change. As much as there might be some foreign entrepreneurs that come here, run something in the summer, and then leave, there are many of us that live and call Croatia our home. I, for one, I'm never moving back to the UK, 100%. Croatia is my home now, and it's hard for local people to understand that, as we've heard. So keep kind of pushing forward with what you're doing, support each other. You've heard the company names now. We've got the group as well, which for now is closed, but the idea is that will open once we've done all the paperwork and everything we have to do as part of being a European project. You can always reach out to any of us, so feel free to do that. But for now, enjoy the food, talk, mingle, share your business cards, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much for coming.
And if you like the food, you'll find the Toye Tacos just by the terrace.